Oh, there goes Colin.
All right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the Norwalk Board of Education Facilities Committee meeting. The date is Wednesday, February 28th, and the time is 6:02 p.m. I am joined here this evening by fellow board members Diana Carpio, Colin Hostin, and Ashley Gulias, and also by our facilities team, including Ms. Sandra Fayolez. At this point, I will confirm that we do not at this time have anybody on the line for public comments. So we will then move into the bulk of our meeting. So I will hand it over to you, Sandra. I understand we have some updates.
Would you want to review the minutes, or is that at the end?
I did not see any minutes on this agenda.
Okay.
I didn't see any either, probably
Yeah.
because this is a special meeting. Am I wrong?
Maybe because we didn't have a meeting the last time, we skipped the last time.
That might be why
Okay.
we
So
didn't have
then
a January
we,
meeting.
that is correct. So then we definitely can begin. So thank you so
Okay.
much for clarifying.
Great.
So we did skip a January meeting. There were no updates that were worth convening over in January, but we do have some now. I have members of my team here. Bill Hodel, our Director of School Facilities, is here. And we also have Alan Lowe from the city side. And Alan is going to just be providing us some updates. Bill and I are both here also to answer any questions. But I will essentially turn the meeting over to Alan, and I will be his IT support throughout the process. We're going to just begin with updates on Cranberry, move into Norwalk High School P-TECH project, and then give you some brief updates on Sono. And we will have time for your questions and answers at the end, but we suspect that it will be a relatively brief meeting. Alan?
Thank you. Sandra always say that because she knows that can go on and on and on and on. Anyway,
it hasn't worked, so
that's how it works. They threatened me to duct tape today. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I think the first thing I want to go through is actually Cranberry School. As you all know, the school has been open since September, and interior is all finished. We're still working on punch lists with Bill. There are miscellaneous things that happen and very typical of any construction project. We do have a few roof leaks here and there. I know it's brand new roof, but these things do happen. So we are chasing those things down. And there's a number of other things that is a long punch list, but we're hitting those regularly. And so in fact, sometimes you gotta wait for some rainstorm and different type of rainstorms and stuff like that to figure out all the issue that may or may not happen. So, but overall, we're moving very well. The only thing, a couple of things that we're not finished. We opened school in September. And then thereafter, during the summer, we start demolition of the existing building. And then by December this year, early December, we finished the the parent drop off, the bus drop off, the field work, the parking lot, and also that loop around that goes around for a parent drop off and pickup. I believe it's if you hear anything, I believe the whole layout and operation is very successful. It's one of the biggest drop off we have among all the school system. So we're able to accommodate a lot of cars into a loop. I think it's working out really well. The things that we haven't finished on the outside is really landscaping for the springtime. Color coding the tennis court. As far as I believe that we haven't color coded because no sense putting it in the winter time, just go for another winter. So as soon as spring comes, they're scheduled to do that. And also putting turf, putting grass onto the field itself because we gotten too late to put turf onto the field, so we decided to do next. It's also the last week of December. I mean, early December, it got a little wet, so we couldn't really drive on it to put sod on. So we do that in springtime. Originally, the reason why we are putting sod on Cranberry originally was there's a potential of using Cranberry as a softball site for Norwalk High School. That's why I decided to use turf. Typically, we seed it. But working with Doug from Noah High School. He actually preferred going to Brian McMahon. They work out a schedule with Brian McMahon so the softball can go over there because it's more dependable. Because when you get wet, they can't play. But you know, with artificial turf, they can manage it much better. It's more dependable in terms of weather condition wise. So springtime we're going to finish that, and that project we're pretty much done. The project was $45 million within budget, so we did well on that project. As some of you probably been there, and I think it's a very nice facility, and we are actually submitting that project for potentially some awards for that project. If you have any question, then I'll move on to the other projects. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to next one. It's Noah High School.
Alan, I'm sorry for interrupting. Do you need me to show anything that's been uploaded that you had sent me or no?
Yeah, maybe you can upload
The Norwalk High School?
Norwalk High School, yeah.
Okay, I could do that now.
I think it's just most important. I think there's a picture on it that kind of show what the building looks like. So we just kind of remind everybody. It is very interesting that, you know, we are building a new school, and you know, for the project, it's the state approval is for $239 million. The city also have additional $6.5 million available. I don't think we're not going to go for the schedule. There should be a picture there, right? So I'm sorry, the state approval is for $239 million. The city also have a $6.5 million available. We've gone through a design phase in the last couple of years. And as you may know, during COVID and post-COVID, the construction industry is very unstable. And at point, we typically carry like a 3% increase per year. But during the last couple of years, it went up as high 8%. And then last summer and fall, we went back down to 5% increase per year. So when you talk about a project like this, when you talk about 5% over $200 million, 5% you go to $10 million a year. So those are substantial numbers that we're talking about. Even though it's 5%, doesn't seem like a lot. It's real dollars. We went out to, which we completed. You probably remember in the fall, we actually come to facility committee and board of education for approval of the plans to go out to bid, which we did. We took us 2 months for bidding because it's very complex projects, as well as the number of bidders are limited because not a lot of contractors out there, trade contractor, they have the capacity to handle a large project like this. So for electricians and plumbers and stuff, so there's very limited number of bidders. So we do a extensive effort to get them company to get engaged into wanting to bid this project, and also make sure that they provide competitive pricing because the competition is somewhat limited. So through all the process through November, December, and January, we went out to bid, and the project, and we got favorable numbers, and we submitted to the Common Council, and I think that February 8th, the Common Council approved the project. And what they approve is called guaranteed maximum price, which we typically call a GMP. And it was approved, I think, like February 8th, which is like 2 weeks ago kind of thing. And since then, we have law departments putting those contracts together. And it should be, Gil Bain is our construction manager. They have signed it. So next thing for the mayor to sign, and then everything will be in order to start construction. So as soon as this contract signed, while this contract being signed, Gil Bain has been reaching out to the trade contractor and had them begin to line up to all the background work to get this project started and mobilized. So we are potentially looking at contractor be on site. It's a little bit of time kind of thing. We got construction fencing, we got to do a whole bunch of other things, you know, surveying, other things ahead of time. So there will be some minimum activity in the next 2 weeks, but at the same time, it is going to happen by middle of March. So earlier this week, I think was it yesterday? I can't even remember now. We actually have, no, Monday. Thank you. Monday, we have a meeting with the school administration, with 2 principals, and some of her staff members. We actually go through some of the things that scheduling, student parking, and you know, circulations, and all the various things that will impact the school operation on the exterior. So that meeting went for a little bit more than an hour. I think it's very informative for both sides about their needs as well as what we are going to do. And so we are pretty much moving ahead. The building construction is going to take about 3+ years. So we are looking to finish the new building by summer of 2027. During the summer, once we finish the building, concurrently towards that summer 2007, we will start doing demolition of the existing parking lot and the existing building. And then after that, we've demolished the building, then we start doing all the site work and all, and start putting in the athletic facility, including the field house, the concession building, the football field, and the softball / multi-purpose field, and the tennis, and throughout the year after. So we are scheduled to open the athletic facility in the fall of 2028. And the only thing that would not be finished at that point is the tennis courts and the field house, because we need to maneuver the site and parking and all these other issues that we have. So by December of 2028, the entire project will be finished. So it is going to be another 5 years roughly, right? So 4 years from here, 4.5 years or so. I think that's pretty much at Norwalk High School. Oh, one other thing that just came in my mind is that in terms of bringing the kids, the athletes to a different facility. Most of the outdoor athletic program is off-site already, but there are a few ones that will be affected that will not be on site. So working with Doug Chetty, we have worked out a whole strategy where people are going to be, how the kids are going to be and stuff like that. And working with Johanna on transportation, we are developing a program. I think it's about 3 sports that require busing the kids around, and we are not using our regular school bus. We are trying to, because in case they get delayed, we don't want them to miss the picking up the kids afterward kind of thing. So we're actually doing separate buses, smaller buses to move them around. And Johanna has gotten a proposal from one of your bus company, and I'm going to go to Common Council approval. I'm going to land use committee next week, and then go to full Common Council authorizing me to reimburse Board of Education for those expenses of transporting the kids around for the sports program. And this is only for the spring, and then we'll work out what the situation is for the fall, and we'll work out, we do another similar kind of approval, and so that we will continue that way. I think Sandra is working to schedule a groundbreaking ceremony sometime later in March, beginning April. So we'll figure out what day works for everybody. And I think that's all I have for Norwalk High School. If you have any question.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions regarding that project since it's?
Yeah, I do have a question. Thanks, Alan. So I think last time we were talking about there being a committee formed that would be made up of administrators and some staff and maybe parents and students as well to help with inputs. And it looked like that had been established. Is that something that you know anything about, Alan, or?
Yes, we typically, actually by city ordinance, I, on behalf of the city, it's generally speaking required to set up what we call a building advisory committee. It's made up of board members, a couple of board members, typically a couple of council members, teachers, parents. It's not intended to be like 50 people kind of thing, but it's by the end of the day, it's probably about 10 to 15 people. I think there's member of the teaching staff and the principal. We got 2 principal and on. So we had
And a representative from Narragansett.
Narragansett also, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
we had set up a committee probably like 2 years ago, but through graduations and people leaving the system, so I decided to restructure it again. We had 1 meeting recently. There's no required number of meetings or when we meet. It's when we need to kind of communicate. It's really for the purpose of communication, so that when the council member shows up or the board member shows up, we talk about what we're doing. So really just updating, so it's a means of relating information both up and down a little bit. But it's not really to decide on what brick color we want to pick or so we
Right.
just want to hear. It's really a form of communication that everybody has some interest in it, that the stakeholders that would be we provide information to them, and they know who to contact with their questions and stuff like that. So generally speaking, that's it. It's not it's not like a regular scheduled meeting. It's not like with recorded or anything like that. It's just really information session. So I will have another one, but I want to pick a critical time. I think we did it like a month ago before we went out to bid. So now we probably will have another one. Probably, I know it takes a little time to set up. So the other thing I talked to Sandra about the other day was that I think one thing I want to do is we'll update this Board of Ed website that has both schools on it as a project that we are focusing on. The city and Board of Ed is focusing on. So we want to update some of that information on it, so that the public can have some access to this information.
And Dr. Moore actually suggested that we start to do some video shorts so that we can actually communicate to families and staff in that way. We do written communication for Dr. Moore and Dr. Black so that they can share that with faculty. So we do make ourselves available to the staff and to the student body, but we take the lead from also the school principals. We don't want to start to monopolize the time that when they do bring faculty together, because they still have
Right.
their school business that they have to manage. So we've asked them, like, what forms of communication work best for them, and we'll take that lead from them. And if it's videos for them to blast out to the community, we'll start to do that more frequently. Or if it's just written communications that have updates in bulleted formats for them to then be able to share out. But now is the time to really start to put those things, strategies into play, because now it's when we actually have activities that are going to be happening on site that will start to impact the way that students, staff, and families are interacting with the site.
Exactly. So I'm thinking about things like parking and
Yes,
also spring sports.
yes. Mhm,
So,
mhm. So we're working with the school right now,
right,
actually.
and with
So we are, the
Hannah.
parking spots are actually getting numbered right now at Andrews Field. So
Oh,
all of
okay.
those things.
We
So
we restricted the fall
yeah.
already.
We restriped it, and things are so we've done a lot of behind the scenes, and we're now at the place where we could start to communicate the actual physical plan to say that these are the numbered spots. The students that already have passes, their spots will be assigned over at Andrews Field. We did go out there in the winter time to survey how the sidewalks looked, to make sure that those sidewalks will be cleaned for when the snow comes. So we've done a lot of that we can now start to share with families, the exact date of when all that needs to be put in place. So within the next 2 weeks, you'll start to see some of that communication comes out, and then we'll gather the building committee once again.
Yeah, also I think no high school staff also at our request had looked at the lighting level
Yeah.
on County Street from there to there for those early dark winter days. That could be a sensitive issue. So they looked at it, they thought that it's reasonable. So we leave it at that. If there's any, as we go forward, if for some reason we need more, there's different ways we can accomplish that.
Yeah.
Because Eversource has a program that you can actually floodlight, but not neighbors like floodlights because potentially go into the house. But at the same time, they can actually put up floodlights, and they just bill it for usage, no meters and anything else. But there's a way we can but again, no high school staff will look at it at night already. They were comfortable with the light level on that street. So we're gonna leave it at that for now. And again, if there are any issue or concerns, that we can look at it again. The sidewalk clearing of snow, actually Sandra's Bill's staff actually was out there one day right after snow last week or week before on a June day, and we took video. He took video of the sidewalk along County Street, and section of it is pretty good. The neighbors came out, the residents came out and did a really good job, and the sections were not. So I'm not going to deal with this yet, but I'm going to look at it in the summertime and then in the fall, anticipate the next winter. I think one of the things is it's not a simple thing that we can look at, is because resident has a responsibility to remove snow, but we don't want to kind of put enforcement down on them, because now we are creating a negative relationship.
Yeah.
we gotta work gingerly with like finding the balance as how whether we will supplement the snow removal on the street or not is something I need to look at to find the right balance and how much we do and how much we leave it to the resident to do. But again, we don't want to like cite them for not removing snow because of our kids had to walk
Right.
to the sidewalk kind of thing. So it's finding the right balance, So I want to be good neighbors and the neighbors. So we are conscious of those issues. And one
Okay.
other thing that came up earlier this week, I think Sandra was talking to Marsh Shamas, who's the representative, I think maybe a vice president, whatever it is, for Gilbane, is that they do have a program about, I'm not sure the right word here, engagement of students who are interested in construction manager, construction, and things like that, shadowing the program. So Gilbane is a big construction company, so they do have set up some procedures and methodology that actually incorporate kids that may be interested and get them knowledgeable about this profession of construction. So I think it's a good thing. And so it's not like somebody that never done it before. They have it as part of their portfolio in terms of things to be not more than public relation. It's a client relations kind of thing. So they do have it a set up program that we can tap into if there are kids that are interested in that. And I think in today's world, I think there are a lot of kids. Maybe not everybody goes to. Don't get me wrong, not everybody goes to Ivy League school kind of thing. But at the same time, it is an interest for those that are interested in construction. And it's not more than just an electrician, a plumber, or whatever. It's really construction management, development, and stuff like that too. So okay.
Diana,
That's
did you have a question? I saw you come off mute.
Yes, did we, or have we thought about, or have we asked, that corner of County and Strawberry Hill, now that students will have to be walking down to Andrews Field for their cars, will we have either a police officer or someone on that corner? Because we were gonna have the buses and then you have the parents
Yeah,
that are.
we've
feeding
been
in.
working with the NPD to actually get additional support.
Okay, thank you.
They attend our meetings when we have these meetings also at the school.
Great.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I kind of encourage the team is that we need to be as flexible as we can. I mean, it's interesting that we have the student parking at Andrews Field. It is about 2 blocks away. It's it's very reasonable in a sense that people do walk that kind of thing, but at the same time, it's that kids may not want to walk. So some kids may not decide that as much as I have right to drive, the ability to drive to school. At the same time, it's like it's a rainy day, I probably want to just take the bus that stopped right in front of my house instead of driving to school because I got to walk in the rain kind of thing. So I think as time go by a little bit, we can see the behavior and patterns people have, and then we can as long as we are flexible to kind of accommodate those changes. Just because we hand out 125 parking tickets for parking passes out, we don't know how many kids are actually going to drive to school. Again, depends on because it's not right on campus anymore. But at the same time, they may just want to some of them may just want to take the bus. I'm not sure how many of those are, but we'll know as we move forward.
And just going back to the subject of spring sports, and I haven't gone to look to see if there's information on the Norwalk High School website or PTACs. I haven't seen any as a PTAC parent coming through for how the kids are going to be transported or where track and field is going to be, or is softball still where softball is? Like, is there a communication plan there? Is it going on and we're just not seeing it?
Doug has been extremely helpful and contributing to this solving all these issues, and I believe that he actually started having the coaches talk to all the students already, and they do know where they're going. They know, I mean, the schedules and stuff like that, and that's why we have a schedule for the bus pickup and things like that, where they're gonna go. Tennis is going to go to the Nathaniel Ely Center area. One of the reasons is because the city does not have any facility that has 6 tennis courts except there. We actually look at Oak Hills, which has I think 7 or 8 tennis courts, but the problem is they're clay courts. So tennis starts in March. The problem is that this time of year we can't get those courts dry enough because they're clay. And also they don't come on prep it at that point, even though we want to pay for it, they won't do it because it's too early in season to be. So and also the different service for playing for tennis is a little bit of issue. So we work out something with the grassroots tennis because they have 6 tennis court, and also that's kind of a little bit of a feeder program for Brian McMahon and Norwalk High School. So having the younger kids seeing the older kids play and high school kids play and stuff, probably it's a little bit of benefit. It's kind of a little bit of relationship in terms of growth and development of the sport kind of thing. But there's, again, it's no question, it's the other side of town. So we had looked at all that and figure out what the best way to bring the kids there and overlapping schedules and stuff like that. So we work, and Doug has been working out with like,
Yeah, but
when
Doug is
the home
putting
games are and
together,
stuff like that. And so
but
it's all
Doug has
open
been
schedule.
working though, Alan, right? He's working on a more like comprehensive spring schedule because I think he's already shared it
Yeah.
to put out in communication. Like there's been, all of those details have been figured out, so they're all assigned. So I'll come back to Doug and Joanne from Alan's team to make sure to tell you when that's going to actually be available to
Okay,
parents.
yeah, because I mean,
Okay?
that's the kind of information that I was expect to
course.
be shared out on Parent Square
Yep.
to Pete Tech and Norwalk High parents, and I haven't seen anything yet.
Okay. Yeah, not yet, but they did, but I think like mid-March is when you'll start to see a lot of things come out that actually, that's the sort of the marker for the
Mhm.
project
Spring
actually
sports.
being. Mhm.
Great. And then I had one other question. So, the last time we had a Norwalk High School committee meeting with Bob Duff, we were talking about groundbreaking in April. Last night, I think I heard March. So
Late March,
what are
early
we thinking?
April.
Late March?
No, either. So it's
Okay.
late March or early April. We asked, so we're coordinating with quite a few offices. And so
Okay.
then because of that, we are trying to either for late March or
Late March or
early
early
April.
Okay,
Mhm.
nothing's set in stone yet.
No, Maura started those communications, given the superintendent's schedule and the mayor's schedule.
Gotcha.
We got Senator Duff to give us a few dates, and then Senator Duff actually asked us if he could invite other people. So he's expecting other dignitaries to be interested in attending. So then not to say that he stalled the plan, but you know what I mean? He ended up having to go out to ask other people who also have very
Availabilities.
complicated schedules. Exactly. So
Okay.
those conversations started maybe 2 weeks ago, and we're still waiting for him to come back to us with a final date that actually works for everybody on the state level. And we have the city side pretty much wrapped up.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll also get the board side.
Oh, absolutely. Once we have everybody's dates actually done,
Okay,
then the board is
because
critical in
obviously,
that
yeah, we
also.
would like to be able to participate.
No, absolutely. Mhm.
Okay, thanks, Sandra.
Okay, if I'm gonna move on to South Norwalk School. South Norwalk School is generally follow the same schedule. That project is $76 million. We spent $14 million to acquire the property. And additionally, we have moved $2.9 million, not from this account, from another funding source, or actually city capital, but we allocated $2.9 million for acquisition of additional property. That's on Oxford Street. If you know the Hatch and Bailey property, there's a side of it on Oxford. There's like five property that that we would benefit as part of the school to acquire those property. So we didn't do that originally, but we decided as the project moved forward that we, as in the Common Council, decided that it's desirable for city to acquire those properties so that we entitled to as part of this project. So again, we allocated 2.9 million separate from the 76 million to acquire. That's still not enough. That's why I think as part of this year's capital budget money, I requested on the Board of Education to request another, I think it's $3.3 million more. I think that's what it is, to further provide money for the acquisition of the property as well as relocation, because there are, I think, about 7 or 8 tenants or residents on those property, as well as the development costs, because those our budget 76 million does not include cost of improvement upon getting these properties. So that's in the capital budget request. And also I moved money. Sounds like I have money all over the place, but I don't. We moved $1 million to traffic and mobility to address the intersection. Traffic will always want to do some improvement on the intersection because that intersection it's not aligned properly. So they prefer that there be alignment. So we move $1 million over there. There's also periodically, I don't know how frequent it is, but I know there is flooding at the intersection. It's really heavy storm and high tide. So we actually allocated $1 million to DPW for drainage improvement. So those projects are being designed and developed concurrently with this project. So let's get back to the construction of this. So similar to Norwalk High School, we went out to bid, and we came to Board of Education approval of the final design. We submitted to the state, they approved it. We went out to bid, and we got bids back in end of January. So it's almost the same schedule. Went to Common Council on February 8th, and they approved the guaranteed maximum price for South Norwalk School. And last week and a half, we've been working on the executing agreement with them. On that project, we are able, because there's nobody on the property and stuff like that, we are being very aggressive in terms of starting the project. So I believe we may even have the demolition contractor on site start doing abatement already. So it is moving along really quick. One of the reasons is that the project is scheduled to finish in about 1.5 years, which puts us in August of 2025. So it's a very, very aggressive schedule. And again, as you probably heard me say many times before, I do anticipate that coming back to the board and advise the board in April of 2025 what the status of the project is, so that we can plan properly in terms of occupancy of the school. There are certain things that construction cannot control, whether the contractor will go bankrupt or something like that and delay the project. And so there's nothing we can do about it. But by April of next year, we would be in a position to advise the board and the city that we are on schedule or not. And then also we give everybody the opportunity to plan accordingly. But we are on schedule and on budget for that project. So we are moving expeditiously. And again, so we'll go for the next year and so, and then we would come back and see how we're doing, and then we can see, what the move-in date is. I think a number of things that the board need to consider at that point. It's even we have finished the school, when you want to move the kids in, kind of thing. I mean, South Norwalk School is moving in there, but at the same time, are we moving any other kids from the other school moving in there? And also the sidewalk improvement. Oh, there's also another $1.5 million that we allocated separately for sidewalk improvements that it's being managed by traffic and mobility. So all those projects are going to happen this year, next year, kind of thing. So timing of those projects and how much of these you want to finish before you open school is also it's a topic of discussion as we move forward. So there's a number of factors and when we open, but I mean, as soon as we finish school, we probably want to occupy it. At the same time, we need to look at all the other things that happens around to see what the move-in date would be. And I don't believe it's difficult to move in. Moving South Norwalk School it's not very difficult, because by then we're moving in this school. The new South Norwalk School is designed with 4 sections, I believe. And I think right now, Sandra, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, right now the South Norwalk School only have 2 sections, right?
Yeah, it's 2 sections right now, K through 1, and
Yeah.
next year it'll be 2 sections, pre-K through 2.
So this school designed 4 sections, which means there's 4 classes per grade. So it's for 682 kids maximum. And typically we really don't want to fill, and generally speaking, I mean, ideally you want to kind of design it for 85% occupancy so that you got flexibility to accommodate more kids, kind of thing. But again, in a year from now, we do finish on time and you want to move in, it's the population that moving in the building isn't as much as the building is designed for. We designed 4 sections for pre-K to 6, right? No, to 5th. 3K to 5th, and for 4 sections. So we probably have like 3 or 4 grades in there, only at 2 sections. So again, the board has the opportunity to decide when and how to move in. So those are things that we work out, kind of thing. But it is a little bit of evolution of the process, and so I think that's pretty much it. And only thing that come to my mind right now is we are looking to the solar system for the rooftop. The city has a standard that all new buildings will have a rooftop system, solar panel. South Norwalk is a little more tricky. We are designing the building to accept solar panels on the roof structurally, and all the equipment designed to accept it. We got a conduit going through it. The system are not purchased by the city. We actually do this called power purchase agreement, which is lease program. That's typically how it's done. That's how we do in Jefferson and Ponus, and to be implemented is Cranberry School. But South Norwalk is a little more complicated because they're not Eversource. So Eversource has a charge, the utility charges for Eversource a little higher than South Norwalk. And South Norwalk has a much better rate than Eversource, but they use some of that money to turn it back to us as incentive money. But South Norwalk, generally speaking, does not have an incentive program. So it gets complicated. So financial aspect of a solar system may or may not work. Right now, I'm working with SNU. They're actually going out for RFP for a power purchase agreement for a solar company to look at this to see the feasibility and what it costs and whether any financial benefit. Because the generation rate by SNU is about 8 cents per kilowatt. So in order to save money, the cost of generating electricity need to be less than 8 cents. Otherwise, you're not saving any money, kind of thing. We may still want to do it, but at the same time, is that generally speaking, we typically like to have a financial reason to do this project. If there's no financial gain, it's really just a green project and potentially even costs us money. So those are things that we still evaluating and working with SNU on. So it's very interesting in terms of that, it's so simple to say, well, we can put a solar system in, but it's the actual financial aspect of it. It's kind of challenging. I think that's all I have.
Any questions on Sono so far? We're also scheduling the Sono groundbreaking also. So just it'll be two groundbreaking dates that we're trying to schedule. That's what makes it a little bit complicated. So that we anticipate will be in April.
Okay. Exciting.
Yeah, we will make sure to tell you all. Kara, I believe you were on the list for the building committee
For Sono?
for Norwalk High School PTAC. So I think the
Okay.
last
Yeah, I haven't
meeting,
been getting any.
no,
Or
I
was
think
that the one that we had
last
at City Hall?
yeah, that was the
Oh, okay.
one of them. Yeah, that was one of the ones that we had one meeting, right, Alan? That was it?
But that wasn't like with principals or are they part of it? They just didn't
I
come?
think the invite went out
Okay.
to everybody, but I think that you came
Yes.
and
Okay.
Diane,
Yeah, Diana and
okay.
I were there.
But I'll
at City Hall.
definitely double check, but yes, but there is board representation in that group.
Okay. And that's
Mhm.
the group that we were talking about before that also has
Mhm.
the principals,
Mhm.
and I don't know if there's any student involvement or parent involvement in that.
Oh, Alan froze. Say this is what happens, but it's okay. Did you guys have questions on Sono?
No questions, but on that parents group, that group was a big one. I think Carol was added to the new updated one.
It's
It's
to the
actually,
updated one,
yeah,
yes.
Colin and I were on the older one. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
but yes, but I think that I could share that with you, the list, so that you
Sure.
see. We had to get like updated lists of parents. It took a little
Yeah.
while to actually
Okay.
have it finalized because the school leaders, nominate people and then they have to want to commit to it. But
Okay.
you were by
Yeah.
default, Kara, our
Representative.
representative because of you chairing this committee.
Got it. Okay. Thanks.
If there are no further questions, and if you need anything else from me, I'm happy to provide you anything outside or the next time we meet.
Thank you, Sandra.
And Bill.
And
Bill has
Alan.
been doing a lot of moving
still
of
here.
things back and forth. Diana can attest to that behind the scenes. So
Yes.
I wanna
Thank
make
you,
sure.
Bill.
Yeah.
There is a lot going
Okay.
on for sure.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right, so motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Have a
Good
good
night,
night.
everyone.
Take care.